So this is one that's not new to any of us, but
it's a love.
Ryan's a bitch and is not partaking. No, I get exactly why he's not partaking. Oh, you did pour. You said you weren't gonna.
He did a
I
minuscule
lied
pour.
to you, motherfucker.
Okay. Oh, he's a liar. All right, so let's take a look at one of. I think this has to place in the top 10 favorites for all of us. I know it's one of your favorites of all time, Luke.
Yes, it is.
This is definitely in my top 10.
Counting everything I've ever tried, I think this still cracks the top 10. And that includes the fact that I love cast strengths and I've tried some that I never want to run out of.
Right.
But
that's why I bought 4 bottles of it so far.
Because you do not want to run out of this.
I do not. But anyways, on the nose... It's an odd medley of the classic Jim Beam peanut. There's a little bit of that
the
peanut.
most bourbon-y notes that we've gotten out of anyone tonight.
So I get that. A little bit of cherry cola.
A little bit. I almost get like it's like cherry, but like what I wish Red Stag was, where it doesn't taste Robitussin-y. It's just
cherry cola.
Cherry. I don't know. There's a little bit of a distinction to me. It's almost like a candied cherry.
Fair enough.
More than an actual cherry cola.
Fair enough.
I guess candied would be the word I'm looking for.
But yeah, that Jim Beam peanut.
Little bit of the peanut.
The peanut, the cherry. I get a little bit of leather.
A little bit of leather, a little bit of vanilla.
Vanilla,
oak. Yep.
And a little bit of brown sugar.
Yeah, so the classic bourbon notes plus peanut and cherry.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But
the peanut and cherry are the main things that we're getting.
Those are the first things you get, yeah. And it's like a perfect medley of them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like this.
Once you start noticing a note, none of them stick out. You just notice it. Like if you're smelling for it, you smell it.
It's a complex nose. Like this is a very, very, very complex nose.
But it's balanced.
Yes.
And that's important to have, especially in something like this. It's one thing if it's complex, but you don't want something to overpower everything else. Nothing, I think, is overpowering in this.
Not at all. And it's a Knob Creek product. And that signature Knob Creek, I love it. Yeah. That's all I can say. That's a personal preference, but I love it.
And should add, this is probably easy to get at $60 pretty much everywhere. It's $60 in PA. That's right about average.
Initially, it's sweet. It's a dark sweet. Like you get brown sugar.
Yeah, again, a little bit of dark fruit, but nothing excessive.
I would say the very maximum, if you could take a Fig Newton, and take like a tenth of it, it has a little bit of Fig Newton, but that's about it.
I mean, that could also be my fucked up taste buds. That there's certain things that I taste more of. I'm getting more of that than what you're saying.
Fair enough.
But it doesn't it doesn't stand out too much.
Because on the palate initially for me, I get a ton of brown sugar.
Yes.
Rich oak, not oak table, but definitely that vanilla fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Like you cut down an oak.
It's not like the Rebel 10 the first time we tried, or the quote unquote 10 that's basically a 14 that tasted like you were looking at an oak table.
Yes.
It's not that extreme.
No, not that extreme at all. Like this is like a good balance of oak. And then it slowly morphs into like a little bit of pipe tobacco, sweet pipe tobacco.
You still get a little bit of vanilla.
A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of leather. But the finish is all brown sugar and vanilla. Mm-hmm. Like on the very end of it is brown sugar and vanilla. Like 100%. It starts off with the oak and brown sugar.
For me, some of the oak still lingers.
A little bit,
but it's not. It's more that again. It's not like the end of the finish is oak. It's just that some of it from before still sticks around.
Right.
This is so fucking good.
It's all there. I mean, it's got the sweet up front, and then it goes into the richer notes of tobacco, leather, a little bit of pepper.
It has everything you expect out of a 12-year.
Yeah.
Where it has the very clear oak influences and all the influences from the barrel itself, but it still has the traditional sweetness you expect. And it's sort of, it balances, but you also get waves of getting each.
And now that I've had my fourth sip of it, on the finish, I start to get like cinnamon with the vanilla and brown sugar at the finish.
Are you getting more of a like cinnamon like spice, or more of a cinnamon like a sweet cinnamon, like a brown sugar cinnamon?
I would say a spice.
That's kind of what I'm getting. I'm getting it less than I think you are.
No, it's not. It's not like. It's not a punch in the face cinnamon.
Well, no, I know that it's not like that for you, but I'm saying for me it's pretty faint, like even for that.
Right. Well, that's why I say.
But again, that just could be I pick out certain flavors.
That's also why I say cinnamon spice, because like to me cinnamon spice doesn't stick out as much as like cinnamon bark or
fair.
red hot cinnamon, because it's not a spicy cinnamon. I'm thinking of like the dry powdered cinnamon with like that distinct woody, slightly sweet, slightly spicy taste.
That I can go with for sure.
But yeah, no, I don't get like a red hot or
right. No, and I didn't think you were getting anything like that either.
Like there's nothing like artificial candy about this bourbon. This is all like true rich bourbon notes.
And this is it has a bit of every traditional bourbon note.
Yes.
It's just all about when you're getting it and how much of it you're getting. But it's all there. And it blends together really well.
It does.
Up to, like, again, if you prefer the palate to have more brown sugar, you might want something more along the lines of a Maker's Private Select.
Honestly, I could even say if you wanted more brown sugar, get Knob Creek 9 Year. Knob Creek 9 Year is a little bit sweeter.
I can see that too. But, point being, like, depending on what balances you like, that's where this becomes one of your favorites or one of them. Like, I can't say a single bad thing about this. It's just all about whether you taste like certain things, whether you're gonna like something more than this or not.
Like this is one that
We both agree that this has just the right balance of sweet and oaky, leathery tobacco.
Yes.
Sort of the drier bourbon notes.
And rating this is hard for me. Like I don't know if I want to rate this as 7 or a 10 or 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly lean towards 8 out of 10 just because of how perfectly balanced it is.
I would put it at a 7.5 for that exact reason. It's really balanced. I personally, I'm into Maker's Mark. I like the Private Selects, how sweet they can get.
Yes.
And how much of a brown sugar bomb they can be compared to this. And this has a lot of brown sugar on it.
The only thing I had to
But
say...
I do like that sort of, that little bit of spice that Maker's Mark traditionally has.
The only thing I'll say about that is that the Maker's Private Selects are essentially single barrels.
Yes.
So
that is worth noting too, yes.
This is a small batch product where you're going to get a consistent product every time.
I should add, when I'm talking about the Maker's Private Select, I am talking about the one that the video will have been up by now, the 2020, or late 2020.
October 2020 is what they have on the label.
Yeah, I call it the 2021 because that's when it first got released
right.
to begin with. But that Private Select for fine wine and good spirits. The ones that, again, it's a brown sugar cinnamon pop tart. I like those kind of notes a little bit more. So this is easily top 10. If it had a bit more of that, I would put it in top 5.
Fair enough.
But that's again, we're talking nuances at this point. It's phenomenal. We're still talking with how many whiskeys we tried. This is top 10 we've ever tried. Yeah.
For an iconic, like relatively like easy to get bourbon, this is it.
Regular stock, regularly made. They're never gonna stop making this. Let's be real.
As far as we know, they're never gonna stop making it.
They know the demand and they know how acclaimed it is. The only thing I would see is it becoming harder to find, which would be very unfortunate because it's delicious.
And the other thing too is that this is 100 proof, which, for me personally,
again, sweet spot.
For bourbon, 100 proof is probably the sweet spot. Like,
and that's why, that's part of why Bottom and Bond is up there. That's why a lot of
that's why Bottom and Bond is a thing.
Because they know that that's right where you're gonna get either a good baseline or, depending on how crappy your product is, the best of what you're gonna get.
Yeah, like it's all around. I can't knock this.
It's a nice
bourbon.
blend of heat and complexity and flavor.
The only thing I can knock about this bourbon is that there are things that are a little bit better than it. And that's the only thing you can knock for it, is that there's some things that are a little bit better than it.
Right.
But
and
it doesn't do anything
those
wrong.
some things aren't necessarily the same price range. Those some things can be twice the price of this for
I mean, at that point, yeah, like we're talking like George T. Stagg, Booker's.
Which I mean, MSR like for Booker's, for example, Booker's is $90 in PA.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right around. And yeah, it's going to be better, but this is another case too where you'd want to factor in price and availability
At the same time, though,
and consistency again.
yeah, because that's the thing about Booker's is that there's different batches. This is consistent. Booker's is not consistent. There's some phenomenal batches and there's some mad batches.
Now, granted, a meh batch of Booker's is a great batch of Booker's, but still.
I wouldn't say it's a great batch of Booker's. I would say it's a great batch of bourbon.
Fair enough, yes.
Because like I've never had a batch of Booker's that wasn't worth the price tag.
It's just that there's ones that are more worth the price tag than others.
Yes, exactly.
And this one, you know exactly what you're going to get, and what you're going to get is balance. And
it punches.
it's every bourbon note you want to get. It's just whether, like the only thing that'll vary is if it's in the proportions you want.
Basically, I don't even know how I would price this because $60 is a steal for this.
I can agree.
Jim Beam, don't be listening. Keep it at $60. But
good news, my channel doesn't get viewers.
but again, this
is a running joke now. Jesus.
This is easily one of my favorite bourbons of all time. I don't know how to rank it.
So let me ask this: if it were priced at, let's say it were priced at the price of Booker's, would you buy it?
I would still buy it. I don't think I would buy it.
Like, what's the max you would go on this?
Well, the max I would go on most bourbons is 100. This I might stretch a little bit at 110.
So
but I would not.
You'd consider going above it, okay?
I would consider buying 110, but I also wouldn't drink it as frequently as I do.
Right.
Like that.
At 60, this is higher end daily sipper type deal.
This is a very high end daily sipper, and for me, at $60.
Or it's a great one to have a couple drinks to start off the weekend every week.
I would say
where it'll take you a month or two to go through the bottle, but you get your consistent nice pours of it.
Yes. Like, this is one that I could potentially make into a daily sipper, which for me personally, I don't drink super frequently.
Right.
So I could easily do that, just because...
Same, actually. You know, it's funny, we're so into whiskey and we don't daily drink like we think we do. Like we act like we do, unless you're Ryan. Ryan casually walking in frame for that. Well, it's okay, you're tall, we couldn't even see your ass.
Do you want to?
Yes!
Yes.
Rip it out!
Now Greek 12, everybody!